My name is Angel Fuentes. I am the Dean of Business and Workforce Development at Evergreen Valley College in sunny San Jose, California. A little smoky, I guess, today, but that'll pass this weekend. I'm here with some great people. We have a very, very important topic to discuss and to share with you. And I'll start by apologizing. One of our panelists had to last minute emergency, had to step away, but we still have an amazing panel for you today with people in the industry or people that have been involved in the world of AI, developing programs and advising students on these programs over the course of many years. I will tell you a little bit about myself, and I will let the panelists introduce themselves after that. As a dean at Evergreen Valley College, I am in charge of the workforce programs, and we're looking ourselves at a possible development. We're doing our research on developing an AI program here at Evergreen. We just started the process, so it'll take a little bit of time, and there's so many considerations we have to take into account, but we're very happy to be able to even explore this. One of our panelists, I used to work there before, both places. First one is Tuan Nguyen. He's professor of computer information systems and engineering as well at Laney College in Oakland. So I'm really happy to see him again and to have him here. I'll let him introduce himself in a little bit and tell you a little bit about what he does and who he is. And right before that, I worked in Arizona as Associate Dean of Workforce Programs under the wonderful Gabriela Rosu, Dean Gabriela Rosu, Dean of Instruction in the Maricopa County Community Colleges system. Go ahead, Tuan and Gabriela, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you, and then we can get started.
Should I go first?
Sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Tuan Nguyen. I used to work with Dean Angel here, and he's just happy to be in San Jose now, but I can still see him just like now. Under Dean Angel leadership last year, Laney College started to develop AI curriculum, and we work, and we got a few courses approved by the states, and currently my big, I don't know, for another week or so, the biggest task that I have is to send in the application to the state for a brand new, let's say, department or discipline called AI. So hopefully that would help all of the colleges who are contemplating developing AI courses. You have a code called AI to work with. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Angel. It's nice to see you both. So my name is Gabriela Rosu, and I am the Dean of Instructions at Chandler Gilbert, which is a part of the Maricopa Community Colleges, one of the largest systems in the country. It's so wonderful. My area encompasses academic and CT programs, but Maricopa, we're the first college in the country to offer the AI program. We lead the way, and we develop a model for other colleges to follow suit, especially with AACC and Intel working together to develop AI for workforce. It's amazing. So I'm glad to be here and answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Tuan and Gabriela. I miss working with you both, but I'm so glad to have you here today. Today, we're going to be discussing some basics about AI programs and about the AI education world and the opportunities that are out there. And I'll be also providing some input as we answer the questions and as we have this conversation. Please ask your questions, put them on the chat. I believe that Sarah is keeping track of the chat as well, and she'll be able to tell us if there's any questions that we would like to answer or that you want us to answer. I have a quick question first and we can start with Gabriela, if you're available right now, about AI and education, and then we can get Tuan's perspective as well. Can you share your educational and professional journey? How did your background influence your career path and expertise in this field?
great question. Actually, my background, my expertise is definitely not in AI. My background is cybersecurity. However, I am passionate about, as a leader, you have to see the opportunities in which way the industry is influencing the higher education to offer opportunity for students. So with the artificial intelligence, I was interested for several years ago, and seeing the opportunity after Chandler Gilbert developed their cybersecurity program, artificial intelligence, just getting the partnership together, and we're with Intel developed that program, but recognizes that as we move forward, as the global movement moves into a different direction, artificial intelligence impacts every single industry sector. We have been dealing with artificial intelligence in the health science, in the healthcare arena, and this is how we came about to develop the AI program at the community college, just so we can be at the forefront, offering the students opportunity. But also we're launching the bachelor's degree in 2025. In terms of education, there's opportunity for students. It's a new industry per se. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we're going to face as higher education and industry, it's about what are the job market and what is the job profiles for the students who graduate into that field.
Thank you so much, Tuan. What about you? What is your path here, your career path, and how do you feel that prepares you for this field, this expertise in this field?
Well, I have been a full-time faculty at Laney College for almost 25 years. Before getting into AI, I have been teaching mostly in computer programming, computer science for transferring students. But then just a few years ago, especially in the summer of 2019, one of my children took a course in AI. And then I look at it and I say, wow, they are working on AI to detect cancerous cells. So it got like neat and new. And then on and on, I got exposed to AI more. And my background is I got my degrees in electrical engineering and computer science at two of the local universities here. And then with that, I just say there must be something that we should look into, because the AI is not new, but now it branded itself into AI as we know. And so I started to look into it. And if you think about it, COVID-19 without AI, we wouldn't get the vaccine within like the 12 months. So the more into it, I really see AI is the future that here we are in the Bay Area, that we are exploring, we are developing, and we are producing applications everywhere you look. First, those autonomous driving, and then you see the healthcare, as Dean Gabriela just mentioned. I think that is a big one. I am also really into it. So I would encourage all of the students and the audience to look into the AI fields, because it's not just education alone. It's not just healthcare. Everywhere you look in the Bay Area, we see and we heard the term AI. So my passion for the past years and a half is developing curriculum. And to this particular point, I'm really happy to then say that we learned a lot. We got support from Intel. We got support from AWS. So if you're interested at the colleges, you should probably explore or get to know the programs. That should be good.
Thank you, Tuan. And just for a little more perspective, my education is also very different, not necessarily related to AI. As my education is in astronomy. I'm an astronomer, but through the work that we did at Chandler Gilbert, I was Dean Gabriela Rose, who was my supervisor there. We put together this great program with Intel down at Maricopa County Community Colleges, and it's been going strong since, which inspired me to also bring it to other places and to make more connections with industry. And as Tuan mentioned, I wanted to second that, because there's this is not just about the tech industry anymore. This is not just about creating the next natural language processor that is really cool and everyone mentions and everyone uses. I'm looking at how AI can help our automotive students be more prepared for their job in the future, because they're going to have to be dealing with autonomous vehicles, for example. They're going to have to be repairing those and troubleshooting what's wrong with them. And so getting them the foundation that they need to know to be able to diagnose something, even if it's from a basic perspective, will be really impactful in their lives and in their careers in the future. Okay, I got one more for you then, that will really go to the important and to the basics of AI in education and the role and the careers that are out there. And I have some more information that I can share for you as well. Could you provide examples of how AI is currently being applied in various industries? Tuan, can you lead us with that? How is AI being used in different industries?
Well, I'm looking at two of them, especially I already mentioned with healthcare. Healthcare is so expensive, and it will be draining our our whatever resources that we have in the country. So having AI, instead of having two nurses to help one person, maybe now we only need one, because we have something called AI assistant. But that is something I already say. However, as I participated in several of the meetup groups in the Bay Area here, I really see that the AI in education, especially AI in higher education, will be changed a lot. Everybody here knows ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not just a simple tool in education, in every other industry sectors too. But in particular, in school, in colleges, some instructors feel uncomfortable about using ChatGPT because they just see that they may lead students to a wrong learning path. But I do see not just ChatGPT, everything else that I have heard from my students, they took their initiative to learn about how to use AI to assist digital carpentry. That is surprising, yeah, as if you look at the college to have such an area. But every else that you do, look at my field of coding. Now I have to think seriously of AI tool, for example, Copilot. Yeah, Copilot is the assistant tools that is made available with GitHub by Microsoft in Office Suite 365. So it will affect everyone one way or the other. You need to learn. You need to take advantage of tools. Being uncomfortable to start with, but just be patient, get to learn. I think that is the area that I see a lot of applications of AI.
How about you, Gabriela? How do you think this connects to so many industries that we have in our country and all over the world, really?
The AI, I keep saying that this is the next internet, and it's just across the industry, like Tuan said. But being so passionate about the healthcare, I can see, and doing the research, it's the biggest impact we'll have, for example, in diagnostics, how the machine learning models will assist in analyzing the X-rays, MRIs, and any signs of diseases. That's one of the big that we're talking with our partners. Our hospitals around in Phoenix area. Also, when we look at the Tuan touch on the vaccine, on the drug discovery, AI can help in the analysis of the molecular structure to discover that potential new drugs, for example. Even I can see it into assisting the robot in surgeries. If we look in the finance industry sector, which is a very growing area, not just from credit score, how the machine learning can model and predict your credit, if you're worthy, the customer's worthy to get something approved versus the traditional. Also, when in retail, the retail started probably like more than 10 years ago, they delve into the AI, meaning like once a customer, if everybody experienced that in New York, in the larger cities, when a customer walks into the store, and later on, all the mannequins, they have the AI facial recognition software built in. And then a sales associate would approach you and say, hey, I see that you're looking for such and such a clothing. This is going to be also is going to take in by storm. But when you look at the energy, for example, the larger impact, the energy industry with the smart grids, I can see the AI that is going to help balancing and distribute the energy supply. This is going to be huge. Agriculture is another need across the globe when we talk of the global approach into farming, precision farming. How are you going to use the drone and including the AI, machine learning to monitor and optimize the crop growth, for example? How are you going to detect the disease protection in terms of the farming? Manufacturing, I know we started also another initiative that we modeled the way in a country with a semiconductor. The AI in terms of research has a great impact into that in terms of the AI using the decision making to spot defects into the product. Also, the AI, I know within the semiconductor industry, how to predict the need of the raw materials. But also we can go from education to law and every industry sector. One of the topics that I think education and the industry sector and the politicians need to come together to talk about the biases with AI and how we can address that. Because we need to remember and be sensitive about it. Because if with AI, if we have incomplete data, that means that the biases, you have incomplete data and biases, that's where you get the wrong and skewed recommendation based on the AI. But as with everything else, the industry is going to evolve, and this is going to have a great impact. I don't see the AI taking over the human jobs. That's not. It's going to create more, because you have to produce that. You have to instruct the machines to tell you what to do. So.
And hold that thought about the bias and how humans can help make sure that models are more ethical. I have a question follow-up for you on that one. But I did want to put on the chat a great link to an article that one of our, unfortunately couldn't make it, but one of our panelists was going to talk about. This is a blog post she made on her own Medium channel, where she discusses the blue-collar jobs that are coming or that are here already in the AI world. I'm going to share my screen for just a couple of minutes, for just a minute or so, and show you that post that she made, where she summarizes what are those entry-level blue-collar jobs that are either here already or that are basically soon coming. And it summarizes very well what our panelists have mentioned. For example, AI farmland, right? What are those jobs in agriculture that will be changed for the better, perhaps, thanks to the inclusion of AI technologies in their normal daily work? Of course, then, as the Rosu mentioned, assembly line worker in manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, AI will be a very big component. It is already. And it will be even bigger in the future. And maintenance workers for all those systems will be needed. And those worker systems are entry-level jobs. They don't need to know the theory behind AI, behind the entire process. They don't need to do the research or any research on it, but they need to be able to implement it and fix it when it's not working. And so those things can be taught at a community college. And this article is great because it also summarizes what is out there already. And it's all in here. It discusses the different programs that are available in California and across the nation. And it includes existing jobs out there that not necessarily require master's degrees and above. They may just require a bachelor's degree at most. And in some cases, just an associate's degree, because they exist now, thanks to the work that these faculty and other administrators are doing. It would be a lot easier to get into with simply an associate's degree. So link is in the chat. You can peruse it later on for your own knowledge, but it's a great summary of what is out there right now. Sarah, do you have any questions for us right now?
Not at the moment. I think we're good.
Sounds good. Okay. So regarding regarding the ethical components that you mentioned and the bias that we need to be careful of, as all these technologies advance, as they get more complicated, as they evolve in that sense, what ethical concerns do you think will happen? What will be more pronounced in that area? And how can the students that are studying this or wanting to study this develop an understanding of the ethical implications so that they can be aware of them, so that they can prevent wrong conclusions by AI models?
Those are exactly like cybersecurity. When we talk about the cyber laws and all the ethics, we train the students. I'm going to start with that component. We train the students. However, when every individual is in a workforce, it's going to be up to that individual how he's going to use that ethically. When you look at the AI, and I do hope that it may take a few years, but I do hope that we're going to have some type of laws in place, or guidelines in terms of at the country level and globally. So let's take, because I mentioned before, healthcare. When we talk about biases in AI system, it's especially with the machine learning modules, depends, the biases arise when data is used to being put in those systems. So if the data it's biased, then of course the system and what it's going to produce is going to be different. So when I mentioned before about the healthcare and the diagnosis, that AI can help with that. So for example, it's if the AI system are predominantly trained on data from a certain demographics, you're talking about, then that will be, the data is going to be less accurate when it comes to other demographics when we go with diagnosis. So for example, a friend just texted that she was diagnosed with cancer. So for instance, if the cancer detection algorithm has been shown to be less accurate for darker skins based on the bias training data, then of course that's when I refer to the biases. The same in finances. If we think about it, if a certain population, it's more the data is going to say that a certain population is less favorable to get a high scoring credit. That's when so this is what we talk about, how we're going to regulate that, how we're going to make sure that there are no biases. At this point, it's very hard to predict that. It's up to the professionals when we create the algorithms for the machine learning to make sure that that's there are limited biases or zero. That's going to be the goal.
Thank you. And Professor Nguyen, following up on that, what do you think are steps that students can take to ensure that they're using AI responsibly?
Oh, well, let's say that if you are using an AI application developed by somebody, that would be tough because the models, the system already been built. You are just one sample. You would like to get the outcome, but the outcome already has the bias built into it. But then turn around, if you are the one that developing the applications, then I hope that you will be really aware of where you get your data from, what kind of experience that you have when you assign weight, for example, when you do deep learning training, because it's based on your experiences. So if you have an overall outlook and the understanding of the effects and what might affect the outcome, hopefully you're thinking of AI would then be more broader. It's not just one area of application. And in general, you are looking at an application that can be distributed to many different population groups. So with that, then all of the consideration of being responsible using AI and AI algorithms. And as you're looking at your data, of course, your data is not clean. We all know that we have to go through, clean them up. If they don't have data points, then you have to fill them in. So more things that you have to be aware of as you go. Nowadays, tools are much better due to the improved computing technologies. So you can change things very quickly. You can train the system with less time, but at the same time, it's always data at the front end. It's so important. Somebody would then say the data alone probably would take about somewhere between 40 to about 60% of the effort for the process that you make the products. So all of that process come in considering the ethicals, considering the biasing, considering, let's say, a lot of lives to be affected, work out a responsible AI application if you should.
It's a great answer from both of you. And I think one of the things that I've heard a lot while developing these programs and talking to industry partners about this is that, you know, they're highly focused on making sure that there's an ethical component to the education so that people are aware of their own biases or the biases in the data. And then they can take that into account when creating a model. Because if you think about it, for example, one of the examples that I hear a lot is healthcare data. The healthcare data that is out there, it's heavily skewed towards an older population who frequent hospitals and doctors more often than the younger population. So the conclusions they can draw can be misleading to the younger population because it doesn't really represent their lives and what happens in general to a younger population. And so that has to be taken into account when a model is created in AI for, let's say, some healthcare situation, to make sure that it's more comprehensive of the entire population rather than a specific group that mostly frequents, let's say, hospitals, for example. So that's really good. Let's shift gear a little bit, and I'm thinking about, not all of us have taken programming classes, for example. We haven't had the chance or the need to take them, but we're really interested in this world. We really want to go into AI and or even programming, even cybersecurity, whatever it is. Dean Rosu, what advice do you have for those students, community college students who are brand new to programming? How can they be better and hit the ground running faster?
I think it's to help the students understand that what it motivates them. Everybody knows in higher education and even industry, students are afraid when they hear science, either it's cybersecurity and AI now, because they associate that with math. And we don't realize that students just being in any classes, they learn physics, they learn math. So math is not, I don't see as a hiccup, and I wanted to put that there. The students should be intimidated. Learning programming like Python. Python is one of the languages that is predominantly used for the AI, machine learning. And learning Python, any student can hit the ground running from day one. They can learn it. It's so easy to learn. It's pretty much, I call it, I know it is common sense and it's very logic. It makes very much sense. And it's simplistic versus learning Visual Basic, for example. So students, my advice will be, don't be intimidated. They can hit the first day, the classes, and they will learn that fast enough. That's first for the programming, when we talk about the programming classes.
Thank you. And Professor Nguyen, you are in the trenches. You're teaching Intro to AI machine learning right now. What would be your advice to those brand new to programming students, especially in the AI world? And to go more deeper into it, more specific, they have to work with new libraries that they never worked with before, like TensorFlow. So what advice do you have for them to gain very good experience, practical experience in this world, and so that they can be successful?
For my introduction to AI and machine learning class, I'm teaching it with the assumption of no one knows what programming is. So there is a concept of either low code or no code AI. So you can pick a path to have a lot of programming, or you can pick a path of a lot of application. So there are programs, there are training that you can pick to learn a library. Here would then be sample code. Of course, you feel uncomfortable, but the instructions say just plug it in and you will see the outcome. So if you wait to learn how to work with Python for 6 months, that is one option. But I'm taking here is that you learn how to use the existing Python library framework into the application under the guidance. Now the learning, you don't have to go to classroom. Really, if you look at the YouTube channels, some of them would then be better than my class teaching, because they have the focus of just presenting an application, make sure everybody feel comfortable. Here would then be the code that you can just copy and then replace with your own data. So take a class, but then my take is you don't have to have Python programming to start AI. You can learn on the go and depend, as I mentioned, on the teaching. So some may heavily weight on you need to know programming, you need to have programming background, or you can go with a track that light, but get used to AI because AI is fun. And think about it. I just put a link on the chat. If you don't learn AI now, think of the kind of job that will be affected by AI. And in the future, if you have AI background, you work with AI, maybe you will be the one that replace some of the professionals that don't have the AI background. So no one would be safe under AI. So I think that I've shared that with my student. One way or the other, you work as a teacher, myself as a teacher, maybe I can be replaced by an AI person that know how to, let's say, bring AI into the classroom, make the thing fun and more productive for students. So I would advise you not to wait for 6 months to learn Python and then go back and learn AI. Make an effort, maybe search out a YouTube channels or a class that would then teach you AI to motivate you to use their skills, their whatever, bring you into the AI world. 6 months in AI time is a long time. My class, I use the example from last week. I went to the news, I check it. My lecture later this evening, I use the info that just published either earlier today or yesterday. 6 months in AI time is like forever. And you don't want to bring in all news and information. So
Andrew,
learn.
if I can add a little bit, and for students is how you inspire as a faculty, right? But also if we tell the students just the curiosity, knowing why, then it's going to help them guide through the learning journey, like how they learn it. It's just, if I'm curious to know why, then that doesn't matter where you apply AI, learning Python for AI, for web development, and name it. So
Angel, can I jump in with a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so let's see. With AI machine learning, continued automation, what does the job market look like in general and more specifically for tech data? Is it worth learning data analysis tech if machines might end up taking our jobs? And from that, is AI playing a role in making universal basic income closer to a possibility reality?
I like that question, and I'm going to be a panelist right now since you asked, and provide some input there. I think it's it's a matter of knowing what's coming, what's out there. How is my job being affected by this, and how can I upskill? How can I be better at this, so that I can get ahead of, let's say, other people, or perhaps so that I can get ahead myself in my own job. I think I envision, I see myself as a dean of many programs at Evergreen Valley College. I see connections to many departments. How can I help our accounting students be better? Because this world is going to affect so many different places or so many different professions, and it's not that it's going to replace you, but it's going to make the AI revolution that we're seeing is going to change the landscape, and it's going to basically leave behind the folks that are not prepared to make that jump, to make that upscaling, to make that take that next step. Can you repeat the question again? I want to make sure that I answer the second part.
The second part is AI playing a role in making universal basic income closer to a possibility reality?
Well, I'll leave that part to my two other panelists. That one's a tough question. I think AI is helping in many ways. I will say this: I think AI has the potential, and our students are so engaged in this work. I think AI has the potential to help with social justice is something that I always say. It has the potential to really help us gear our efforts where it really is impactful, where we can optimize our work, where we can be more efficient in this work and really bring, for example, through the community colleges, like in Maricopa County, like in the Bay Area, we are trying to bring this to a very diverse population of students who will be trained in how to use these systems to better themselves and better their communities. And so I think that it has the potential as in general to improve the communities of the students, where the students are at. So in that sense, I do believe it can help with wages and with a more standard way of living, thanks to all the benefits and efficiency that it brings. But I'll let my teammates here also join if they have anything to add.
Let me jump into that part. AI is fun. But one thing that I really kind of like jealous of my students, I share with one of the students, say, I wish that I have 4 hours to do nothing but AI. But of course, I cannot, right? So for the students, I say, if you have a couple hours, just hit one topic that you really like. In 6 months, you will become an expert in that area, regardless of who else saying what. Yeah, because they are teaching you, they are showing you resources. If you are persistent, just stay with one topic. I have one of the students right now that he is working on Deep Racer. Yeah, so Deep Racer is the unit from AWS that allow you to train the unit, go through the racing. So I have the units, but I don't have time to train. So then compared to my students, if they just do it 2 hours every day, soon they will be knowing what to do much better than me. So saying that means if you just persisting in doing the AI learning in the area that you would like to be in, very soon somebody gonna come knock on the door because you publish something, because the community now get to know you. And then think about it. Many of us know, but don't have the opportunity to practice. So just keep doing it. Making a wage, that is a tough thing, yeah, because you are competing with your colleagues, with your friends. So if you are better, if you are really getting to know the things, the tool well, surely you will get an offer. Yeah. So I see that is always true. In the industry, they hire the best. So then if you want to be the best, just spend time on it. So think of the blogs that I just posted. The job will be replaced. Yeah. And the job, they say, cannot be replaced. I would doubt it. Yeah. Every job can be replaced by an AI sooner or later, because I think that you already know we are aiming for the next kind of AI, right? Artificial general intelligence. The system would be as intelligent as us human. And then if we're not careful, 50 years from now, hopefully it won't happen. But 50 years from now, they may have something called artificial super intelligence. The machine may control us. Trouble, yeah. But as of now, just learn and have fun. Yeah, things come your way.
I think when I look, and especially when we look, I'm going to split that because the question it's universal basic income, right? And that's one that it may be addressed, especially with the widespread of unemployment due to automation. But however, when we look realistically at the AI, yes, AI, there's no doubt it's going to change the landscape of employment. However, the story should not be about job loss. What I see it's into a job evolution. It's a job creation and how you transform the job roles into the market that it has a influence. It's influenced by AI. It's I don't care what generation it is, and new generation, Gen Z, just name it. It's about how we adapt, the adaptation, the forward thinking, creating policies. It's education, and I will talk about the ethical piece. All those are the key to navigate through the challenges in AI in every sector, and actually what are the opportunity that is going to present to the job market. it's always is not going to be equitable in terms of salary, but as we know everywhere, it depends what is the forward thinking of that individual is going to put you at that top in terms of the universal salary base.
Thank you so much for those comments. Those are great. Let's look directly to our students now that are listening to us here, and they're interested. We talked about some of the skills they should have if they want to go into this AI world. But I'm wondering, what advice do you have regarding the skills and knowledge that our community college students should focus on to prepare them for the roles that we talked about, the entry level and so on? What skills and knowledge should they have before they jump on this world?
I will jump in. Before anybody can jump into the technical skills, you're talking about critical thinking, decision making. Those are the skills that's going to help any student performing any task in a school, like learning. Everybody, we start with the top. I need technical skills. I need all the skills that is going to make me this better engineer or an AI technician or an AI, engineer. But it's all about having that critical thinking, decision making, not being afraid to make decisions on a hard time, and also what we call it the emotional skills. And those are hard to teach, as you know, Angel. We dealt with that in education for how long. I think those are more important skills when the students are ready to then transition into those technical skills that prep them for that particular skill.
As I'm looking at the course developments that I just went through, I purposely make the very first AI course to be like very low code, and the math level is very, very low. I just want my student to feel comfortable and they know what AI would then be about, and they have the opportunity to train, to learn themselves. In AI world, you probably have heard of something called natural language processing, computer visions, and another big area is called deep learning. Yeah, deep learning span across all of the AI application. The students know that they have to encounter math, regardless of how you're saying it. Yeah, the introductory class, low math. You don't need a lot of math. But as you are interested in it, along the course of your learning, learn more math. Because what is AI? AI is a mathematical models. Yeah, you are writing code to implement the models. So it is the core of the whole thing. So don't worry about you don't have a lot of math, because you can learn math. Yeah, you need to be persistent and learn math. So it will serve you well.
And let's I'm thinking here, if we wanted to, we want to be inspired, every one of us wants to at some point be very inspired by what's happening around us and so on. So what would you say would be the thing you want your students to accomplish in this world? Like if they went through the program and they go out there into the world and into work in AI, what would you like to see this world changed? How would you like to see it changed thanks to the contributions of our students?
If I come to it, I think that one of the goals that I would like to do is, and everybody should know what AI is. They may not be an expert, but because they are in an AI community, yeah, and then they say, here is a mom and pop shop. They heard something about AI. They have been working at it for 50 years, for example, flower shops. So they have heard somebody can use AI to then make the improvement with the sales, with the prediction, with what come in. So they just reach out to their community, say, Mr. A, can you come by then so we can talk? You can help me. So it does not, the flower shop is a mom and pop shop. They don't have the resources to hire a company to develop the application. They just go to their own communities. And then somebody can help with an application, with the guidance of what to be follow. I think that is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I would like my student to be able to then say, I know I don't know, but I know someone that can help you. Yeah, that is what I'm looking at.
Angel, you know very well that we always look for the unicorn to teach the students, like we did, how they're gonna be better. So if we have that a wish list, you know, especially for the students, it's mainly how how they're gonna solve very difficult problems. This is one of them. How they can come up with innovation, like medical innovation, for example. This is one that is gonna be, you know, for thousands of years to come. That's what I will wish for the students to learn, and how you support equality in terms of, you know, biases in different sectors and fairness in hiring, for example, or lending, you know, loans, even to the space exploration. It's all about being innovative, creating, and make the world a better place. But those are very wishful thinking, right? And I know it's going to happen.
For me, if somebody can get me from San Jose to Oakland at 5 p.m. on the A80 faster than right now, I would be very happy. No, in reality, I'd love to see what how Dean Rosu said, advancements in healthcare. I think those would be very powerful, and I think they're already happening. We can detect cancer faster with computer vision than we could before, and for example. And I think that our students are able to get into those roles and really impact our lives right now, not even in the future. These are things that are happening currently, that they could, you know, eventually after they finish their education, go through.
Angel, to accomplish that, you need to have your institution invest into eVTOL vehicles, the electric vertical takeoff and landing. So your drone's capacity to carry humans and products. So that's going to be a better solution for you to avoid traffic.
I may have to do that.
Another question. Are we ready for one from the chat? Are legal frameworks and regulations adapting to address the ethical and liability concerns associated with AI?
I'll let the team take care of this one.
Yeah, not at this point. I don't see that. This is a work in progress. I know just the politicians and the legislator, they met, I believe, a few weeks ago or last month in Washington to discuss that. So this is when we talk about the legal framework, and I'm looking at the chat, and regulations, those are going to take, I predicted a long time. It shouldn't take that, because we should not debate at a table what are the regulations that we need to frame around the AI and how we're going to use that, and how we're going to, you know, create algorithms for the machine learning.
Want any insights?
If you look at it, we would like to have laws, guidance of how to behave when you work with AI, because you know it may affect a lot of lives. But here, Dean Gabriela, just saying it, a couple of weeks ago, you heard in Washington, D.C., the senators, think of, they are 70s, 80 years old. Their education and AIs would come from their staff. So for them to make law right away, as mentioned, it may take a little while. But the issue would then be, what if they make the law that have a reverse side effects? Yeah, not helpful, but because our fear, our pressure, they make that particular legislation the law. That would be tough. Yeah, knowing that folk like Elon Musk, like the owners of OpenAI, Microsoft, they would like to have laws in their favors. But then at the same time, we have to then be mindful of what kind of law are they talking about? Do they share things with us, or we are in the dark and they make the laws themselves? It's still hard. Yeah, it's still hard. I'm not quite sure if we would like to have laws to restrict the development of AI. The European already has laws in their bags. I'm not quite sure if we would like to follow exactly the same. Other countries like China, I don't know if China has any laws that would stop them developing next level of AIs and so on. So I don't know what to say there, but just don't have the laws that may cause some, I don't know, bad effects to the development of AI.
I'll add really quickly that, other around the world, governments have entered, many different governments have entered different laws and acts to regulate the use and implementation of AI, like the European Union, as well as the individual states. California, Senator Scott Wiener Senator from San Francisco at the state legislature introduced Bill SB 294 about a week ago now to regulate AI in the state of California. So there are regulations coming, perhaps, and they need to be debated and talked about and so on. But some efforts have started in that area. And I love the comment in the chat about using AI to detect NEOs, near Earth objects. I'm an astronomer. That caught my attention right away. Because it is true, when you look at a telescope, not just necessarily NEOs, but when you look at a telescope like the Vera Rubin telescope that scans the entire sky every single night, it scans the entire the entire sky at night. It's a lot of data. It is, gigs and gigs and terabytes, and it's a lot of data that is collecting every single day, every single night. So we need something better. Humans cannot just constantly look at these pictures. We'll never finish. And it's approximately 20 terabytes of data per night that is collecting every single night. And so the computers will help us go through that data a lot faster because of that.
Another question for Dean Rosu. Does the Chandler Gilbert AS degree articulate with ASU or U of A? Degree, not the individual classes.
Unfortunately, it's because both ASU and U of A and NAU, they do not have a undergraduate degree, a bachelor degree. Maricopa, our college was approved, and we're launching the bachelor degree fall 2025. However, both university, ASU and U of A, for example, they do have research like a graduate level, a master's degree. Some of the classes, they do not have a full degree. And I will say, I know this is proud, but as a community college, we're proud that we are actually ahead of the industry and the university to create such degree. But at this point, there's no pathways. I know university, they're trying to get the students into from the AI to engineer degree or a computer science. Students do not want that. The AI is not neither computer science nor engineering. So I'm not sure if that answers your questions, but we are transitioning. Our pathway is going to be in our bachelor's degree. And then we're looking forward with ASU to develop their own graduate program in AI.
I will add that because Tuan Nguyen, Professor Nguyen and I did some of this research at Laney College when I was working there. There's only a handful, and I believe it's 2 bachelor's degrees in AI right now in the country. They're both at community colleges. The first one is the one at Houston Community College, and the second one is the one at Miami-Dade Community College, which of course makes it more affordable, which is great. The other thing would be the third one, soon enough, will be the one at Maricopa County Community Colleges at Chandler Gilbert, which would make it the third ever bachelor's degree in AI, as far as we know.
Do we have any other questions from the group? Please feel free just to unmute and ask if you do have a question at this point. Okay, I'm going to take that as we have no more questions. I do want to. Is this a question or a okay?
It's a comment.
Perfect. I do want to take this time to ask one more question. How is cybersecurity being impacted by AI? Good question.
That's a good question.
That is a great question. And as a background, having the cybersecurity, of course, when we talk, and I'm just going to take the ethical hacking piece. I call it ethical because there's nothing ethical about hacking. Doesn't matter which way we learn it. We know we try to teach our students the the white hat piece of the ethical hacking, it will be impacted, but I see that impacted the cybersecurity being impacted by the AI in terms of I'm going back in terms of the biases and the ethical piece. With the AI, it's going to be easier to scan or to create viruses, for example. So there's going to be a more challenge for the defending the networks for the companies. And also as a challenge on the other side, large corporation, they can afford to invest in the protection of the cybersecurity. Smaller to mid-sized companies, they do not. So the AI will have a great impact on the cybersecurity. I don't believe at this point we are ready for what that impact is going to look like. But one of the greatest impacts will be generated at a higher speed the viruses and to penetrate easier, to find loopholes within the systems.
I'm going to keep on going. The questions are coming. I have a bachelor in accounting from another country. How can I continue in the AI field?
Very easy. One, that's going to give you an advantage. Having an accounting degree, for example, you're the same like when you think, when I participated to get my ethical hacking certification, for example, many years ago, my group, I was the only IT faculty per se individual. Every single one, part of the 20 individuals from all over the country, they were lawyers. So having that, they wanted to learn about the cybersecurity so they don't have to pay an expert so much money. They needed to educate themselves. Same with you, having a bachelor in accounting, it's amazing because the only thing that you have to do is enroll in an associate degree and with AI. And that's going to give you not just the fundamental, the foundation of AI, but pretty much is going to help you to concentrate if you wanted to move forward into being an expert within the accounting arena, but AI.
I will second that. I will say that I'm trying to get my faculty in accounting to adopt to a partner if we come up at Evergreen, if we do continue with our research and create a degree here. I'm trying to get our accounting faculty to partner with the folks working on this because I think there's a connection there, a very strong connection for a class that is specifically about accounting and how it's impacting that world. But
I'm just going to stop you for one quick second. Tuan has to jump off to go to class. So I just wanted to make sure that we recognize how thankful we are for having you come and share your expertise tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Tuan.
Take care.
But yeah, so I think there's that. And by the way, I will also say that if you're here in the Bay Area, for example, Laney College is offering, Professor Nguyen is the instructor teaching those courses. He's offering a degree in AI, and you can even go for the full degree at that point, right? If you're really interested in that, you could go to Laney College and get a degree. And the class, for example, the intro class that is running right now was scheduled in a way that it allows for working professionals to take the course. It's scheduled on Wednesday evenings online and Saturday mornings in person for the lab. And so it allows working professionals to attend the class without having to miss work.
I'm just going to ask this one more question, and then we're absolutely going to have to take questions later. I'm dropping the email in the chat now. If you do have any follow-up questions, please email there and we'll make sure it gets to the right people. But this final question is, I teach high school students Python through an after-school program. One of the biggest challenges we have is that the school's IT department blocks things like ChatGPT. How can we make services like ChatGPT more tolerable by educational institutions?
And that's a great question, and that is up to the administration. We had a panel, Channel 12 in Arizona, and everybody from higher education, they fear ChatGPT. I'm not sure why, because the institution should embrace it, and the faculty and administrator, they need to know it. So it's actually a great benefit for students and faculty and teachers to learn that and see how they're going to use it in a classroom instead of reject it as a plagiarism. So unfortunately, because I know high schools, how they get a close network, so it's very hard to, when it's blocked, it's blocked. And you cannot go around it. it's more if you are off network, so you can teach the students without using your which is tough because you're teaching Python. So that's, I hate to tell you, you're out of luck unless you're administrator. You can convince them that ChatGPT is not a bad thing.
You know, I can add a little bit to this too. I was just at a training at a high school district, and the information that we were given by the County Office of Education was that it was directly dependent upon the particular district, and then sometimes even based on whichever school you are at. So just to kind of, you know, dovetail off of this, we are in such a really new place in this moment. Things are constantly changing. So maybe, you know, maybe directly approach a school or district on it.
Yeah, I was just gonna add real quickly that it's complicated. It's a complicated topic, especially in California, because faculty have control of the curriculum and so on, rightly so. And so it's a big partnership that needs to happen between the institution, the faculty. But I think that from my perspective, there should be a way for faculty to decide if they would accept it in their classes or not, if they would accept using it and so on. I mean, I will on the record, because this is being recorded, state that there's some evenings where I'm working, I'm tired, I need to write an email, and I just don't have the energy anymore to go into too much detail. And my emails, English is my second language. My emails come out very direct at that point. And so I've asked ChatGPT to help me soften the tone of the email a little bit, because I don't mean it so directly. But at that point, when I'm so tired, that's that's where my brain is, and it's helped me in those cases. The important thing that you should notice that it should be a help for you in school, not a replacement for you in school. It should help you. For example, can you find some typos in this thing that I just wrote, but not can you write it for me. I input the email myself, and it helps me reword it in a way that sounds a little bit better. So there should still be students making their own work, and then this, if the instructor allows it, then it can be used for refining that work a little more, perhaps. But it's really up to the instructor discretion at that point.
And I just want to note that Kadane, you have your hand up. Did you want to just jump off of mute and ask your question or say your piece?
No, I'm just going to add a comment a little bit to that, if it's possible.
Of course.
So yeah, like Dean Angela explained, that we have to embrace it at the community college level. So I am here, I teach computer information systems, networking. I've been in the industry for a while. So I got the chance to attend Cisco Live conference this summer. They were talking about AI. So AI is a game changer, like you explained earlier. So the experts was saying is there was four generations what we had. First one was the command line. That was a game changer. Then after that, Windows 95 comes in, and then the GUI was a game changer. So people were complaining about it. The third one was the touch screen. And then the fourth one right now is ChatGPT. It's going to be there, and then it's going to make our lives better. So people were saying when GUI comes in, oh, this is going to kill job, because everybody was on a command line. So still, the AI is going to create a lot of jobs, and then we should embrace our students. We should fully support it as a community, as educators. As that's very important. It's not going to go anyway. Like earlier, Professor Nguyen was saying that nobody's no job is going to be protected. So we should embrace it. That's what I just want to add to comment.
Thank you so much for that. And just to add a little bit more to the question Brendan posted, I think having a conversation with the administration and showing them what it is, because there's a lot of misinformation out there of what it's not, what ChatGPT is, and it's not BARD, all those different new and already existing language models. I think having a conversation to show them how we can improve our education, how we can improve teaching, how we can improve learning, and so on. I think that has been successful in colleges that I've had connections with, in really helping the faculty, for example, see why it's useful in many ways, how to use it, and how can make even the instructors' lives a lot easier in so many other ways, as well as the students' learning can make it more thorough.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think that we are going to wrap it up. So thank you so much, Dean Gabriella, for being willing to jump in at the last minute. You're greatly appreciated, and for all of the great information that you had to share. And Angel, thank you for being an awesome moderator and for helping us all understand a little bit more about what's going on in the world of AI. And then for those of you who are still here, October is Cybersecurity Month. Our next topic will be coming up on October 26th, Securing the Internet of Things. And I believe I know the speaker, if you just bear with me for one quick second. Sean Duvall, a Senior Director of Sales and Engineering at Armis, is going to talk about cybersecurity and have a lively conversation there. So if you're free, please join us. And I thank all of you for coming tonight. This was our first Tech Talk of the year, and I think we've started off on a great footing. And I look forward to seeing all of you again.